So I'm going to take you guys back. Some of you guys are going to go further back than others. Back to the first time you came on campus here at Lehigh. You know, you go to a lot of different events, you go to orientation, you see a lot of different people. And many of you probably remember this event. A lot of noise, you're getting to meet new people. I want you guys to go back to the first person you saw that you thought was a leader. Think about what stood out to you that made you think they were a leader. Was it their actions? Was it what they were involved in? Was it the way they treated you? Now, if I ask some of you guys, what are the qualities that a leader has, you'll give me these answers: confident, visionary, approachable, they're forever learning, they're explorers, they have a lot of knowledge, they're always prepared, always organized, they have a lot of goals, they're motivated, they motivate you, and they're inclusive. But one of the things that I noticed, and this is probably one of my favorite leaders, is the invisible leader. The leader that we don't always notice. And maybe some people notice them, other people do not notice them. But they're always the leaders that sit in the back of the classroom. But whenever they speak, everybody listens, and everybody knows that, man, that was prominent. Like, I really like what you had to say. And that's probably one of my favorite leaders. And I'm just gonna quote this: quiet leadership, not heroic leadership, creates sustainable value over the long term. And I love these type of leaders because it's always their actions, the way they walk, the way they speak, the way they talk to you, the way they treat you, that really shows that they're a great leader. But I also want to take you to another quality that I feel like we kind of oversee as leaders. And Kyle definitely touched on this, and I loved his presentation, how he mentioned empathy and being empathetic. So I'm just going to define empathy really quickly. It's the feeling that you understand and share another person's experiences and emotions. The ability to share someone else's feelings. And me, I feel like this is a very important part of being a leader. Have you ever joined a club and you're like, man, I don't like the way that person talked to me. I'm just going to dip. Or I don't like the person leads. So empathy is a really powerful thing that I feel like we don't look at when we define a leader. And so I was looking at a website, and they actually made a really good distinction between an empathetic leader and a sociopathic leader. And I don't really know how I feel about the sociopathic leader, like terming it that way. But it says that empathetic leadership is the ability of leaders to understand, relate to, and be sensitive to customers, colleagues, and communities. And I think this was a business website, so this was also talking about empathy and being an empathetic leader in the business world. So be sure that, this is probably not the last time you'll hear about empathy and being kind towards other people and really honing in on others' feelings. Versus the sociopathic leader. Sociopathic leadership, on the other hand, is arrogant, self-centered, insensitive, and manipulative. And those are some harsh words when we look at it. But can some of you raise some hands if you've ever experienced a leader that may have had some of those qualities, but you still deem them as a leader? And so I think it's really important for us to really take the time and know how we're leading other people. So am I an empathetic leader? And I have some corny memes on here, I'm sorry. So some characteristics of an empathetic leader: being a good listener. I'm sure you've all heard of active listening. I don't have to go through that spiel with you all today. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. It's always better to listen to people, eye contact, nodding, really showing that you're truly listening. And I feel like we keep hearing this because we often do not listen. I know that sometimes I don't listen. Somebody's telling me about their day, I'm like, I'm doing fine, I'm having a bad day, I'm too miserable, I'm failing on my classes, but we're not actually listening to how the other person is expressing their feelings. 2, non-judgmental. We all fall short on this one. I know I do. And so, obviously, that's really self-explanatory. If someone's sharing an opinion or a choice or they're sharing something with you and you judge them, for whatever reason. But I think the third one is probably my most favorite because this is, I think I heard it the first time in LeaderShape, and it always stuck with me because it's something that I feel like I need to work on, and it's called emotional intelligence. The capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. And so this one really stood out to me because I feel like there are many times where I'm working with people that I'm not actually engaged in an active relationship with them. I'm just working with them just to work with them to reach an end goal. But I don't know enough about them. I don't know anything about their personal life. Not saying I have to know everything like what you did last night. But it's just really good to hone in on the other person and know exactly how they're feeling or what their feelings are about certain decisions that you're making. Having an active relationship with the people that you are leading or the people that you are working with. And so, what's this got to do with Lehigh? And so, I put this up here because I feel like one way we form relationships here at Lehigh are through clubs and organizations. And I bring this up here because we are leaders, and I'm sure that almost all of us are involved in a club or organization. We are presidents, we are e-board members, or we are just general members, but we lead in our own special ways. And that when we join these clubs and organizations, we form relationships. And so I think it's really important when we're in our leadership roles to be an empathetic leader and to really be actively engaged with people rather than just working with them just for the sake of working with them. Because I feel like whenever we have issues, especially on a club level, and this goes across all boards because I know everybody's nodding their heads we going through it right now. I think that we don't have active relationships with each other. And I think that stems from not being empathetic leaders and not really caring about the next person. And so I know that even I have fallen short many, many times on being an empathetic leader. Just to name an example, not naming no names, but someone expressed an opinion, and I kind of shut it down. And then I kept pressing, but why did I hurt your feelings? But why did I hurt your feelings? And I wasn't really thinking about, this person just wants to be left alone. They felt hurt at the time. And just to have that emotional intelligence, just to know that person and know that, maybe I need to give them their time and their space, and that I wasn't really being an empathetic leader at that point. So tips for being an empathetic leader: have patience with yourself and others. It's a process. So really just having patience. If you're not a touchy-feely person, I'm not a touchy-feely person. I don't really like that type of stuff all the time. Just really being patient with yourself and with other people, and really giving yourself the time needed to form active relationships with other people. I said this before, 2 ears and 1 mouth, active listening all the time. Have fun with your peers. Again, with the active relationship, you should be having fun with people. Do things find something in common that you have with the next person and talk about it. And be vulnerable. Another thing I don't like to do. No. You don't need to know all about me, but that's a big one. And last but not least, I'm not sure if everybody heard this in every single year, but just know that you are a whip. We are all works in progress. And so, it takes time to become the best leader that we want to become. And not all leaders are perfect. Thank you.